I'm going on a date with someone else to make sure I'm not settling, she announced. Take your time, I said. Packed her things while she was out. When she got back ready to tell me about her date, her bags were by the door with a note. Hope you didn't settle. I decided not to either. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I suppose the most insulting part wasn't that she wanted to cheat. People cheat. It's ugly, but it happens. No, the part that actually broke me, the part that flipped the switch in my brain from unconditional love to absolute indifference, was that she thought she could schedule it. Like a dentist appointment. Like a routine maintenance check on her libido that I was expected to wait in the lobby for. To understand why she felt comfortable doing this, you have to understand the dynamic. I'm 29, she's 27. Let's call her Qley. For the last 3 years, I have been the bedrock of Qley's life. When we met, she was drowning in credit card debt and hated her roommates. I was the one with the career in logistics, the one who bought the house in the suburbs, the one who paid off her Audi so she wouldn't have to stress about the monthly payments while she finished her master's degree. I didn't mind. I loved her. I wanted to build a life where she felt safe. But somewhere along the line, safe started to look a lot like boring to her. The shift started about 6 months ago, right around the time she reconnected with her college friend, Sarah. Sarah is the kind of single that makes you appreciate solitude. She's 30, perpetually finding herself in the beds of guys who don't text back, and she is miserable. Naturally, misery loves company. Sarah couldn't stand that Qley had a paid-off car and a loving fiancé who cooked dinner every night. So, she started dripping poison in Qley's ear. You're in your prime, I heard Sarah say on speakerphone once. You've been with him since you were 24. How do you know there isn't someone better out there if you've never looked? You're settling for comfort, Qley. Don't be a suburban housewife before you've even lived. Instead of shutting it down, Qley started soaking it up. The complaints started small. I was too practical. I didn't want to go to clubs on Tuesday nights because I had work at 7 a.m. I was financially controlling because I suggested we put money into a Roth IRA instead of a third trip to Tulum this year. You act like my dad, she told me last week, rolling her eyes because I asked her to lock the front door. It's suffocating. I need excitement. I need a spark. I provide a home, Qley, I had said, trying to keep my voice even. I provide a future. That's not suffocating. That's life. That's your life? She muttered, turning back to her phone. I should have seen it coming, but I underestimated the sheer level of delusion Sarah had pumped into her. It happened on a Friday. I came home from a 50-hour work week, exhausted, looking forward to ordering Thai food and watching a movie with her. Instead, I walked in to find Qley sitting at her vanity, applying a shade of red lipstick she usually saved for weddings. She was wearing a dress I had bought her for our anniversary, backless, black, stunning. She wasn't dressed for Thai food. Going out with Sarah? I asked, loosening my tie, trying to push down the knot forming in my stomach. Qley turned on the stool to face me. She didn't look guilty. She looked enlightened, like she was about to bestow a great wisdom upon me. No, she said calmly. I'm going on a date. I stopped mid-step. A date? With who? His name is Brad. We matched on Hinge a few days ago. She said it so casually she might as well have been telling me she switched toothpaste brands. I stared at her. You're joking. I'm not, she said, standing up and smoothing out the dress. She walked over to me, but she didn't touch me. She stood just outside my personal space, looking at me with this pitiful, condescending expression. Look, I love you, she began, reciting a script I knew Sarah had helped her write. But I've been feeling really unfulfilled lately. I feel like I settled for the first safe option that came along. Sarah thinks, and I agree, that I owe it to myself to see what's out there. To check the market. Check the market, I repeated, my voice flat. You live in my house. You drive a car I paid for. And you're telling me you're going to go F***CK another guy to see if you like him better? I'm not going to FCK* him, she snapped, offended by my vulgarity. It's just dinner. Drinks. A vibe check. I need clarity. I need to know if the spark is gone because of us, or if there's just someone out there who aligns with my soul better. She checked her reflection in the hallway mirror, adjusting an earring. I need to do this for me, she continued. If you truly love me, you'll let me have this night to figure it out. If I come home to you, you'll know I chose you. You won't just be the default option anymore. You'll be the choice. She looked at me, expecting me to beg. She expected me to cry, to scream, to forbid her from going. She wanted the drama. She wanted me to fight for her so she could feel like the prize. But as I looked at her, standing there in the house I paid the mortgage on, checking her makeup for another man, I didn't feel anger. I felt the sudden, violent death of 3 years of love. It just evaporated. It was like looking at a stranger, a very rude, very entitled stranger who had overstayed her welcome. Okay, I said. She blinked. Okay. Yeah, I said. I walked past her into the kitchen and opened the fridge. I grabbed a beer. My hand was steady. You're right. You shouldn't settle. You should be absolutely sure. I cracked the beer open and took a sip. I looked at her, my face completely blank. Take your time, I said. Have fun with Brad. She looked confused for a second, a flicker of doubt crossing her face because I wasn't playing the role of the desperate boyfriend. But her ego, and the vibration of her phone signaling her Uber was here, pushed it aside. She smiled, a smug little smirk that said she had me wrapped around her finger. She thought I was being a modern, understanding partner. She thought I was waiting. Thank you for understanding, she said, grabbing her clutch. I won't be too late. We can talk about my feelings when I get back. Don't worry about it, I said. She walked out the door. I heard the lock click. I heard the Uber door slam. I stood there in the silence of the kitchen for exactly 10 seconds. Then, I set the beer down, walked to the garage, and grabbed a roll of heavy-duty garbage bags. She wanted to know what it felt like not to settle. She was about to find out. I didn't rage. I didn't throw her clothes out the window or set fire to her shoes on the front lawn. That's what a man who still cares does. That's passion. I had no passion left. I had only efficiency. I operated with the cold, methodical precision of a foreclosure agent. I started in the bedroom. I pulled her suitcases from the closet, the Samsonite set I bought her for our trip to Italy last year, and opened them on the bed. I went through her drawers. I folded her shirts. I paired her socks. I packed her jeans. It was almost frightening how calm I was. I was handling the physical remnants of our relationship, and all I could think about was how much extra closet space I was about to have. As I packed, the financial disparity of our relationship became physically undeniable. I wasn't just packing her stuff. I was packing my money. The Dyson Airwrap she used every morning? I bought that for her birthday, $600. The MacBook Pro she used to browse Hinge? I bought that when her old laptop died during finals week, $2,000. The endless Sephora haul on the vanity? On my Amex. I packed it all. I didn't keep a single thing she used. I wanted her to have everything so she couldn't claim I held her property hostage, but I also wanted the house to be completely sterilized of her presence. Bathroom next. Toothbrush, face creams, half-empty shampoo bottles. Into a box. Home office. Her chargers, her knickknacks, her framed photo of us. I placed it face down. Into a box. By 9:30 p.m., her entire life was contained in 3 suitcases and 4 heavy-duty cardboard boxes. Then came the digital eviction. This, honestly, felt better than the physical one. I sat down at my computer and opened the smart home dashboard. User, Qley. Delete. Smart lock fingerprint, Qley. Remove. Garage door opener app, revoke access. I changed the Wi-Fi password. I logged into Netflix, Hulu, HBO, and Spotify, clicked sign out of all devices, and changed those passwords too. It was petty, maybe, but she wanted to see what life was like without me. Life without me didn't include my 4K streaming plan or my gigabit internet. By 10:15 p.m., I was sweating slightly, but the house looked different. It looked bigger, quieter. I hauled the luggage and boxes out to the front porch. I stacked them neatly to the left of the door, under the awning so they wouldn't get wet if it rained. I wasn't a monster. I was just done. I went back inside and wrote the note. I didn't grab a scrap of paper. I grabbed a piece of thick, cream-colored cardstock from my desk. I used a nice pen. I wanted this to be legible. I wanted it to be permanent. Hope you didn't settle. I decided not to either. I taped the note to the handle of the largest suitcase at eye level. Then, I went back inside, engaged the deadbolt, and turned off the porch light. The house was dark. The only light came from the street lamps and the glowing blue ring of the doorbell camera. I poured myself another beer, sat on the couch in the dark, and pulled up the live feed of the front door on my phone. And then, I waited. She came back earlier than I expected. It was 11:42 p.m. I watched on the screen as the Uber pulled up. She didn't look like a woman who had found the love of her life. She looked annoyed. She got out of the car, checked her phone, probably noticing the Wi-Fi didn't auto-connect, and marched up the driveway. She was walking with that specific, stomping cadence she used when she was ready to pick a fight. She had probably rehearsed her speech in the car. She was going to tell me the date was okay, but she needed more time. Or maybe she was going to tell me Brad was a jerk, but that didn't mean I was off the hook. I still needed to step up to win her back. She walked up the steps. She didn't look to the left. She didn't see the bags yet. She reached for the door handle and punched in her code. Beep, beep, beep. The lock flashed red. She frowned. She typed it in again, harder this time, her acrylic nails clicking aggressively against the keypad. Beep, beep, beep. Red light. What the hell? I heard her mutter through the camera's microphone. She tried to open the app on her phone. I watched her tap the screen furiously. Then she froze. She stared at her phone, realizing she was locked out of the system. That's when she looked up, and that's when she saw the wall of luggage. I watched the realization hit her in real time. It wasn't instant. First, she looked confused, like Amazon had delivered a massive order she forgot about. Then, she recognized the Samsonite suitcases. She stepped back, her hand flying to her mouth. She stepped closer to the bags and saw the cardstock note. She ripped it off the handle and read it. I sat in the dark living room, 10 feet away from her on the other side of the door, sipping my beer. On the screen, her face twisted. It went from shock to pure, unadulterated rage. She spun around and pounded on the door. "Opie," she screamed. "Open this door. Is this a joke? Open the F***king door." I didn't move. She rang the doorbell. Once, twice, 10 times. The chime echoed through the silent house, but I didn't flinch. "You can't do this," she yelled, her voice cracking. "I live here. You can't just kick me out because I went on a date. We talked about this. You said it was okay." She was rewriting history already. I had said take your time. I never said come back. She pulled out her phone and called me. My phone buzzed on the coffee table. I let it ring. She called again and again. When she realized I wasn't going to answer, she went back to pounding on the door. "I'm going to call the cops. This is an illegal eviction." That was my cue. I didn't open the door. I didn't yell back through the wood. I simply pressed the talk button on the Ring app. My voice came out of the speaker on the porch, crisp and metallic. "You don't live here, Qley. You're not on the deed. You're not on the lease. You've never paid a utility bill in 3 years. You are a guest who overstayed her welcome." She jumped, looking around for where the voice was coming from before locking eyes with the camera lens. "Are you serious right now?" she screamed at the camera. "I went to dinner. One dinner. And you packed my whole life up? You are so insecure. This proves everything Sarah said about you. You're a controlling narcissist." "I'm not controlling anything," I said calmly into the mic. "I'm setting you free. You wanted to check the market? The market is open. Go find that spark." "Where am I supposed to go?" she shrieked. Tears were starting now. Angry, weaponized tears. "It's midnight. I have nowhere to go." "You have Sarah," I said. "She thinks you shouldn't settle. Go sleep on her couch. I'm sure she'd love to hear about your date." "Opie, stop it. Let me in. We can talk about this." She grabbed the door handle and rattled it violently. "If you bang on that door one more time," I said, my voice dropping an octave, "I'm calling the police and reporting a trespasser. Grab your bags and get off my porch. You settled for me, remember? I'm doing you a favor." I cut the audio feed. I watched her for another 2 minutes. She stood there, chest heaving, staring at the camera lens like she wanted to claw my eyes out through the internet. She kicked one of the boxes. Then, she realized the futility of it. The house was a fortress. The lights were out. The boring, safe man she had mocked had become an impenetrable wall. She pulled out her phone and made a call. I assumed it was Sarah. She was crying now, waving her hands around, playing the victim. 20 minutes later, a beat-up Honda Civic pulled up. "Sarah." I watched as Sarah, looking tired and annoyed in sweatpants, helped Qley load the boxes into her small trunk. It didn't all fit. They had to jam the last box into the back seat. Qley was sobbing the entire time. Sarah didn't look like a supportive best friend. She looked like someone who had work in the morning and didn't want to be dealing with this. As they drove away, leaving my driveway empty and silent, I finally felt it. Peace. I closed the camera app, finished my beer, and went upstairs to sleep in the middle of the bed. The fallout was immediate, but not in the way she expected. The next morning, the smear campaign began. Qley posted a long, tearful story on Instagram, a black screen with white text, claiming she had been discarded by a controlling narcissist who couldn't handle her speaking her truth. She left out the part about the date, of course. She framed it as her simply asking for space to breathe and me throwing her on the street in retaliation. For about 6 hours, she was the victim. Sarah was in the comments, hyping her up, calling me toxic trash and insecure. But the thing about speaking your truth is that it usually invites the actual truth to the party. A mutual friend of ours, Mike, texted me, "Dude, are you serious? You kicked her out for asking for space." I sent Mike a screenshot of the text Qley had sent me right before she left. "Going to dinner with Brad. Don't wait up. I need to see if there's a spark. If I come back, you'll know I chose you." Mike didn't reply to me. Instead, he replied to her Instagram story. Publicly, "Didn't you tell him you were going on a date with another guy to test the market while he paid your rent? Pretty sure that's why your bags were packed, not because you asked for space." She deleted the story 10 minutes later. The narrative collapsed. Then came the Brad situation. Apparently, Brad, the guy from Hinge who was supposed to be her exciting new spark, saw the drama unfolding. He was looking for a casual hookup, not a homeless woman with a vengeful ex and a public meltdown. I found out later that she tried to text him for a second date, or maybe just a shoulder to cry on. He blocked her number. The spark was extinguished before it even caught fire. That left Sarah. Living with Sarah was Qley's personal hell, and I say that with zero sympathy. Sarah's apartment is a one-bedroom bachelorette pad that smells like incense and cat litter. Sarah loves the idea of supporting women, but she hates the reality of sharing her bathroom. The cracks appeared within 2 weeks. I got a notification from our shared cell phone plan, which I was in the process of canceling data usage warning. Qley was burning through data, probably scrolling TikTok on Sarah's couch because Sarah didn't have high-speed Wi-Fi. Then came the financial reality check. On the 1st of the month, I got a text from Qley. It was the first time she'd reached out since the lockout. "Qley, hey, the payment for the Audi is due on Tuesday. The portal says it's not set to autopay. Can you handle it? I'm in a really bad spot right now and I need the car to get to interviews since my job is remote, but Sarah's internet sucks." I stared at the phone. The audacity was actually impressive. She honestly thought that because the lease was in her name, but I had always paid it, I would continue to pay it out of habit. "Me, it's your car, Qley. Your name is on the lease. I paid for it when you were my partner. You resigned from that position. Qley, OP please. I literally have $400 in my account. If I miss a payment, my credit will tank. Just this one time? For old time's sake. Me, ask Brad." I blocked her number. 2 weeks later, I heard through Mike that Sarah had asked Qley to leave. Apparently, Qley was bringing down the vibe and couldn't pay her share of the utilities. Qley had to move back in with her parents, 2 towns over, in a cramped house she had spent the last 5 years trying to escape. She had gone from a 2,500 square foot smart home with a man who adored her to her childhood bedroom with a nagging mother and a mountain of debt. Karma hadn't just hit her. It had run her over, backed up, and parked on top of her. For months past, my life didn't just stabilize, it flourished. Without the constant drain of her tuition, her car, her Sephora habits, and her emotional volatility, I was saving nearly $2,000 a month. I joined a boxing gym. I got a promotion at work because I wasn't coming in exhausted from late-night arguments about my lack of edge. I was sleeping better. I looked better. I had forgotten the sound of her voice. And then, she appeared. It was a Tuesday evening. I was leaving the gym, bag over my shoulder, feeling that good kind of tired. I walked to my car, a new truck I had bought for myself as a congratulations on not settling gift, and there she was. She was leaning against the panel of my truck. She looked different. The glow was gone. The main character energy she used to radiate had been replaced by a subtle, vibrating anxiety. Her hair was pulled back in a messy bun, not the chic kind, but the "I haven't washed it" kind. She was wearing a hoodie I recognized. It was old, one she used to paint in. She wasn't wearing the designer boots I bought her. She was wearing scuffed sneakers. When she saw me, she straightened up. She tried to smile, but her lip quivered. She looked at me, scanning my new clothes, my clearly fitter build, the new truck. I saw the regret hit her eyes like a physical blow. Hey, she said softly. I stopped about 5 feet away. I didn't unlock the truck. Qley, you're trespassing again. I needed to see you, she said, wrapping her arms around herself. I've been calling. You blocked me. Yes, I said. That's what blocking means. She took a step toward me. OP, please. Can we just talk? 5 minutes. I drove 40 minutes to get here. My mom's car, it's a piece of junk. I just need you to listen. I looked at my watch. You have 2 minutes. She took a deep breath, and then she launched into it. The script. I messed up, she started, her voice trembling. I know that now. These last few months, they've been a nightmare. Sarah was toxic. She got in my head. She made me feel like I was missing out on something, and I was stupid enough to listen. She looked up at me, eyes wide and watery, using that look that used to make me fold instantly. But going on that date, it was the best thing that could have happened, she said. I raised an eyebrow. Really? Yes, she insisted, taking another step. Because the second I sat down with him, I knew. I knew he wasn't you. I knew I didn't want excitement or drama. I wanted home. I wanted us. She reached out, trying to touch my arm. I took a step back. I learned my lesson, she pleaded. I did the research, OP. I checked the market, just like I said I would. And you won. You're the best man I've ever known. I chose you. Doesn't that count for something? That I went out there, saw what else was available, and I came back to you. She smiled through her tears, genuinely believing she was paying me a compliment. She thought she was the prize, and that by returning, she was bestowing herself upon me. I'm ready to come home, she whispered. I'm ready to settle down. I won't ever ask for a spark again. I just want you. She stood there, waiting for me to pull her into a hug. She was waiting for the movie moment. I looked at her. I looked at the woman who had told me I was boring, who had left me sitting on the couch while she put on a black dress for a stranger. I felt absolutely nothing. Are you done? I asked. Her smile faltered. The silence stretched between us, heavy and uncomfortable. She blinked, confused by the lack of warmth in my voice. Done? She repeated, her voice small. I'm pouring my heart out to you. You're pouring out desperation, Qley, I said. There's a difference. I shifted my gym bag to my other shoulder. I didn't lean in. I didn't soften. You have this story in your head where you went on a hero's journey, I said, keeping my tone conversational, like I was explaining a logistics error to a junior employee. You think that by leaving, failing, and coming back, you've proven your love. You think telling me I chose you is the ultimate compliment. It is, she insisted, tears spilling over now. I saw what else was out there, and it wasn't as good as you. I realized I was lucky. No, I said. You realized you were expensive, and you realized that guys like Brad don't pay bills. They don't pay off audits. They don't offer safety. I took a step closer, not to intimate, but to make sure she heard every word. You didn't choose me, Qley. You were rejected by the market you were so desperate to test. Brad didn't want you. Sarah couldn't stand living with you. Your parents are probably driving you crazy. I'm not your choice. I'm your safety net. I'm the path of least resistance. That's not true, she sobbed, reaching for my hand again. I sidestepped her. It is true. If Brad had been rich, exciting, and willing to commit, you wouldn't be standing here in a parking lot begging me. You'd be with him. You're only here because the gamble failed. She froze. The truth of it, the brutal, naked truth, hit her. She stopped trying to act the part of the lovelorn heroine. Her face crumpled into genuine misery. Please, she whispered. I have nothing. I miss our life. I miss who we were. I can be better. I swear, I'll be the wife you wanted. I'll stop listening to Sarah. Just give me a chance to fix it. Don't you miss me at all? I looked at her. I looked at the woman I had planned to marry, and I searched for it. The anger, the longing, the hurt. But there was nothing. Just a mild annoyance that my evening routine was being interrupted. I don't miss you, I said honestly. And that surprised me, too. But the last 4 months have been the most peaceful months of my life. My house is clean. My bank account is full. And nobody is telling me I'm boring for wanting a stable future. I pulled my keys out of my pocket and unlocked the truck. The headlights flashed, illuminating her tear-streaked face. You said you were going on a date to make sure you weren't settling, I said, opening the driver's side door. And you were right to do that. because it made me realize something, too. I climbed into the cab and looked down at her one last time. I was the one settling, Qley. I was settling for someone who needed a safety net more than a partner. I don't need a project anymore. I need an equal. Opie, don't, she cried, grabbing the door handle. Don't leave me like this. You left yourself like this? I said. You wanted a spark? Go find it. But you won't find it in my driveway. I pulled the door shut. She let go before it latched. I didn't look in the rearview mirror as I pulled out of the parking lot. I didn't need to see her standing there in the exhaust fumes. I knew exactly what she looked like, a woman who had bet everything on her own ego and lost. I drove home. I ordered Thai food, extra spicy, just the way I liked it, without having to worry if it was too heavy for her. I ate it in my clean, quiet kitchen. Later that night, I walked past the spot by the door where her bags used to be. The space was empty. The note was gone, but the sentiment remained. She didn't want to settle. And thanks to her, I finally stopped settling too. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.